All right, if Tom Brady's coming back, the Miami Dolphins signed a top quality young offensive lineman in Connor Williams and brought back Emmanuel Agba. It's time for Curtis to come out of the convalescence home and get back to work and go full steam ahead, is what I plan to do. Been chomping at the bit. All this NFL news is really exciting. Been wanting to cover it. But I take my little break. My battle with sugar is finally under control. I got my hands around its neck. Doesn't seem to have the wiles it used to. I still dream of tangerines and apples and pizza and pasta. It's rough. I take it day by day. But I dropped 10 pounds. I'm in like the high 180s or so. I haven't been this weight since I'm like 32. Feeling great. So I want to go forward. I had to plan a podcast for today, but when I saw we signed Connor Williams, it really brought a lot of hope for me. People who watched me before know how I felt about Flores, what I felt Ross and Greer were doing. You might not agree. I had some podcasts I want to bring out for that, but it fell into my issues. I'm going to have them come out soon. Maybe you do agree. Maybe you believe into it, you don't, whatever. This has got to bring some hope, though. It's not a perfect signing. There's some issues around Williams, but the kid's going to be turning 25 within, a hair. Loads of talent. Fills a huge need. For me, offensive line, I love the position. It's the most intriguing and exciting position aside from running back. That's my favorite. But offensive line makes the NFL world go around. I say it and I say it and say it again. 2021, we had the 45th best offensive line in football. There was no way to fairly evaluate anything last year. This year, at least, the introduction of Connor Williams to this beleaguered offensive line to pair him with Hunt really brings some hope. I'm jaded. I'm not a fan, Ross or Greer. Offensive line, to me, has been an Achilles heel, an albatross that's been dooming coach after coach for years. Yeah, the quarterbacks are essential. You want a great quarterback. You want a quarterback that's a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. But honestly, that Super Bowl quarterback's not going to get there and win without a functional offensive line and a team. Look at Burrow. He had an okay offensive line, and you saw what happened to him. So the fact that this offensive line has been addressed. Connor Williams, he's like 6'5", 298, a little undersized. He's got movement skills. He can run block. He only gave about 15 pressures, I think, last year, which is really, really high. He can pass block, obviously. He's perfect for the zone stretch. He can immediately solidify this offensive line that's terrible. It's going to push Eichenberg back to the staying at tackle, which I'm not sure about. Jackson to tackle, what I'm not sure about. But even still, his talent and potential is so high, and they're not done. I don't like Greer's history as far as drafting offensive linemen, but they got some ammo. Maybe they can find somebody. He found Hunt. Very low odds of him picking up good linemen, but things change from year to year, and maybe he's learned. If you add one more good offensive lineman to this squad, fair evaluation for everyone. And that's all I ask. As I say, I'm a Flores guy. I don't like the ownership. I really don't. But I like McDaniel. He's a likable guy. He's the Dolphins head coach. Long before Ross and Greer were here, the Dolphins were here, and I was with them. So I'm staying with them. But I want McDaniel to get a fair shake. I want Tua to get a fair shake. I want this defense to get a fair shake. I want Gaskin to get a fair shake. I want everybody to get a fair shake to evaluate him because that's all you can ever ask. You like a player, you like a team, you just want them to get a fair shake. And if they don't prove it, you say, hey, meet the NFL kid. Good job. Move on. But you just want them to get that fair shake so they can at least prove who they really are. And we haven't seen that for a while. I mean, even a terrible coach like Philbin was strapped with backdoor dealings, with arguments and civil war and bad. Sperano maybe wasn't the most astute guy, super football guy. He was strapped by things that were deleterious effects outside of the game that were constantly pulling him down. Maybe you want to say Flores was tumultuous, but guy never got a fair shake. Or even Crazy Gase. All the insanity and poor free agents and poor draft picks. This offseason has been coherent and it looks successful. What are all these disparate parts coming together? Break the glass, don't break the glass. What is it going to all amount to? I don't know yet. But it does feel coherent. They've addressed key issues, bringing guys back that were essential, getting some good free agents at a smart, fair rate, and then bringing in high talent on the offensive line. Still got to look into some of the warts on that. 2020, Williams tore his knee up his ACL. And this season, he came back, played really well, but 15 penalties, which was second in the league. Why was that? That was all about the beginning, getting his feet wet, missed a couple of games. Was it for injury? I got to look into it, more deeply. But I find the offensive line so intriguing, and I'm really looking forward just to studying this kid's film to see what he's really about. I've seen him play, but I've never studied him. But the kid has so much potential to uplift this offensive line and everything around it. This was such a big signing. And then Agba attached to it. Agba is the engine of this defense's success over the last 2 years. Howard had the big 2020, and there's a lot of good players that have been with him. You got Holland and Sealer and Wilkins. And, there's some good players but his play, pressuring at sixth best in the NFL, 12 deflections last year. I don't know how many pressures, handling the run game, be able to drop into this guy was so critical to be brought back. He was as valuable and as critical as us amending and fixing and bolstering and boosting this offensive line. And so to have Williams paired with Agba, with right below that, Gesicki coming back, who I think if you can get that run game going, it's going to bolster Gesicki, who really makes his hay midway through the clock, late through the clock, because he doesn't have a great start. But he's so big, got such a long stride, and the ability to make those circus catches, that play action that will get defenders to bite and to really kind of believe there's a real running game going on, could have Gesicki's best days ahead of him. And then Agba not being on the field all the time with his run game, we could actually see this guy get even better. And I haven't been this excited about a defender, and I was really sad to see him go since Wake. And when he came back, and then Williams came in, I became very excited. Again, this is not to blow sunshine up your tailpipe. I say it's all unicorns and reindeers and Santa Claus and all this other stuff. We're going to Super Bowl. No. I love my team, and I hate the owner. I wouldn't say hate, but really it's close. Greer, I don't really like him, but I love my team. And whatever it is, it's all going to come out in the wash. I still want my team to win. And this is a good offseason so far. And even for somebody like me, who's a little bit jaded, this brings so much hope. Teddy Bridgewater, I thought, another nice signing, a one-year guy whose skill set is a lot closer to Tua than some of the previous backups that were brought in for Tua. You're not going to have these two diverse offenses. Everything can be kind of same. They have, like I said, similar skill sets. Teddy Bridgewater can spell Tua, maybe push Tua a little bit. And I think he's a very good piece for the Dolphins. Keon Crossan, special team guy, real special team ace, a little overpriced, but this is a run-centric defensive team that depends on special teams. So I can see the acquisition of him. Chase Edmonds, runner. I like him too. 5'9", 5'10", 5'9", 210. Big thighs, which that really means a lot to me for a running back. You could break tackles. You got your cuts, explosion. He shows all that. He ran only 4.55 in the 40 in his combine. But this guy runs that 4.55 on the field in pads and maybe a little quicker. And not everybody does that. Watched him play. He has some explosion to him. He has some quick to him. Suddenness, decisive. Now, got to be realistic. This guy's been injured all the time. Not season-ending injuries. There's a site I go to, checks out injuries. They give a 95% chance to get injured this season, to miss 3 games, with a 16.2% chance per game to get injured. This guy can catch. He's going to be a good complement with Dokes, who I expect to take a step forward. Gaskin, Savin Ahmed, who they brought back, and maybe another player in the draft or something. This is a good stable of backs, and I like where they're going. I don't believe that we need an elite back because the offensive line hasn't arrived. And you're going to grind up a good back behind this offensive line. But the Williams addition with Hunt and hopefully another blue chip pick on the offensive line, even in free agency, looks like a little shaky now, or maybe definitely the drafts. One of these two places could really bolster us. So that maybe next year, the year after, we go spend that big blue chip on a running back. But at this point, this is they've stabilized the running back group. They brought in some competition, some talent. They've upgraded, hopefully, I believe so. It's hard to say not to, this offensive line, because that left guard position was so bad last year. So they're really, Agba, Gaskin, and I like Cedric Wilson. Some people are getting really high on him. Talented guy. He was in a talented backfield, was able to do some good stuff. Just almost 14 yards per catch, 6'2", 197. He's going to be in a very similar framework where you're going to have Bowden and Waddle and Gesicki and Parker to kind of take away some of that defensive focus. And this kid's going to have success. It was a nice pickup. They've really supported this staff and team much better than they have at any other point, really, in Greer's tenure. And so this is really good. Again, don't write any checks either way just yet. There's a lot of distance between here and there, but you got to be excited. You got to be. Now, they brought back Duke Riley, who I like a ton. I like him in the run game. He's physical. I like his coverage skills. He's not the answer, though. He's a piece of the puzzle with Baker. They're going to have to get another D-end. They're going to have to get a linebacker someplace and more offensive line help. But they've narrowed that focus a ton. Again, I said Needham's back too. Even with Needham back, I can see with their top 3 picks, them looking at D-end, cornerback, because Byron Jones and Howard, they're long in the tooth, and Howard's got that knee. And Noah, can you really depend on him? He couldn't play special teams last year. So cornerback to me is still a thing. Linebacker is definitely a thing. D-end is another thing. But still, that offensive line, I think, is head and shoulders above them all. Because I remember reading an article or a tweet or whatever it was of Cameron Wolfe, and he said the Dolphins were going hot and heavy to get this big issue fixed. They were going to get, Jensen and Armstead, and they were going to really hit hard 3 positions, center, guard, tackle. Well, they got the guard. A lot of the big players are off the board. Grier kind of came back and said he expects the young players to step up. Scared me a little bit, but I'm glad they were able to reel in Williams for a very reasonable price of 7 years, $7 million over 2 years, $14 million for 2 years. Good deal, no matter how you slice it. Could turn into a great deal, but they still need to do more. So they have 3 top picks, that late first round. I think a lot of the edge rushers are kind of off the table, but I think last year they covered that with Phillips. I think they need another guy like Agba, who's that kind of tweener type guy who can fit this defense. Somewhere maybe cornerback if the right guy falls. Linebacker, certainly. Middle linebacker, real middle linebacker. Finally, a guy who can do it all. He's big enough to handle blockers. Another lineman center. I mean, I still think a tackle, but I don't see them going that way. I see them going for center. I see that Greer is going to bank on Eichenberg and Jackson at the flank. We'll see. We'll see. Everybody's getting fairly evaluated this year. Greer, he's getting evaluated. McDaniel, Tua, everybody. And they've put themselves in position where there's no glaring holes. They've kind of done the right thing. Still need to do a little bit more, but this is a good offseason so far. Do want my guy Flores to still be the coach, but he's gone. Everybody who's on that boat, it's time to get on the McDaniel's boat. Still got my stuff that I want to show because I still think plenty of fans don't really understand what was done to Flores as far as hurting his on-the-field production. Again, that goes back to Shane Gailey. Got to do that. I've been wanting to do it, but I was just really not able to. I was really under the weather. So I'm going to get those things out to you. But I still see a lot of positive stuff. Going to start doing some tape on plays we're bringing in, on the old plays we have to kind of see how their skill set's going to match. A lot of stuff coming. Really excited to get back. You know, I never really expected to do this thing, but I got into it and started liking it, and then I had to take off because my health. And I really appreciate it even more. So I got a lot of stuff coming, loads of energy. We got, I think we were 23 million minus 7 from Williams. That puts us at like 14, minus 8 for the Rooks, around 6. We can clear out 21 more, so there's still a little bit of opportunity to pick up some good free agents, but I think the big guys are off the board now. Now it's about back-end free agents and draft picks. But it's hard to complain about what they've done so far, what Greer's done so far. But let's see how it plays out. Anyway, this is Kurt saying thank you for staying to the end. Please like, comment, subscribe. Comments mean the most. Going back to the comments, I'm going to start working on them tonight, tomorrow, catch up, hopefully there'll be new comments because I love the comments. It really matters to me. It's my favorite part of the job. Subscribes and likes help us with Google overlords and makes our sponsors, Ace Per Head, happy, which keeps me in business. I really like what I'm doing, so subscribes and likes are great. Anyway, as Kurt saying, have some hope. I don't know about what it's all going to amount to. It's a very tough road to the AFC East. But these moves have to bring some hope. Have to. And let's see what it amounts to. So anyway, thank you for staying to the end. Catch you next time. Be well. See you soon. Earn hundreds to thousands of dollars from booking action with aceperhead.com.